All right, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wealth to the house of David the elect. All right, today I want to go into a topic entitled "The Most High's Laws Are a Necessity for Our Independence." All right, the Most High's laws are a necessity for our independence, for our sovereignty. All right. Because if you go into what it means to be independent, all right, you're not leaning on another nation for your survival. You're not under the providence of another nation. You're not being succored, all right, or assisted by another nation. All right. For us to go through that was a part of our punishment. All right. But, you know, I'm doing this lesson, all right, on behalf of the big topic of, you know, Christianity. Because one of the main things that Christianity teaches is what? We're not under the laws anymore. Which can be further from the truth, all right? But the reason why you're teaching that, because you've disconnected from your independence as an independent nation, okay? See, the Most High gave us 613 laws so we could rule within ourselves under a king, under a leader, under a judge, okay? So I have on the screen Leviticus, the 25th chapter, all right? Because it tells you how to deal with your land, all right? It tells you how to lease land. It tells you how to deal with Hebrew servants versus actual heathen slaves. All right. It tells you how to, like I said, rent property out. Okay. It's protocols to all that you wouldn't understand because you were born and raised as a debt slave. And let me get that right quick. All right. This is the book of Lamentation. I think that's 5. All right. Lamentation 5 and 2. This is a result of slavery. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Yeah, our people are orphans and they're fatherless, man. Or they have no heritage, man. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. All right, so basically, you're serving your oppressors, man. Which spiritually, that's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? But it says we are drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. So you're paying, and you're paying taxes on your necessities, in which most likely you'll never own in general. Okay? We're going back to Leviticus, the 25th chapter. All right? You wouldn't understand this chapter unless you existed as an independent nation, man. All right? So, like the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter, it goes into a jubilee. It goes into, like I said, leasing out land, because you're leasing out for the harvest, okay? Going into the leasing out land up into the jubilee and things of that nature. All right, let me see. Let me get an example, okay? Here's an example of, this is the beginning law for selling the land. This is the core principle. Leviticus 25 and 23. It says the land should not be sold forever, because as an independent nation, you sell your land. Well, you don't really sell it, you lease it out. All right. The land should not be sold forever, for the land is mine. This is coming from Yahweh Bashma Shai. It says the land should not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For you are strangers and sojourners with me. All right, so the earth is your house. So you can never really literally own land. All right, you really leasing out your house land. So you obtain that land for a while, but by law you have to lease that land out to other Israelites, and that creates equity, or a system in which everybody eats. Okay, but you won't understand this law in church, because all you do is what, clock in and clock out for a 9 to 5, to spend fake money on leasing property, whether it's rent or a mortgage, which you'll most likely never own. Okay, and let me see. All right, because these are protocols for keeping the land and leasing the land. All right, as an independent nation, you won't understand this in America. All right. Here's an example. Leviticus 25:25. If thy brother be waxing poor and have sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother sold. And if the man, so if your brother become poor, meaning your Israelite kinsman become poor, and he sells his land, well, by law, his family who might have the money can redeem that land for his brother. You see? Then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that have bought it unto the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year may he redeem it. So basically, you can lease out property, or you can redeem the property that you leased out, okay? And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It should not go out in the Jubilee. All right, but it says, but the houses of the villages which have no wall round about them should be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Okay? And this is basically just laws on renting property, laws on leasing property. All right? I'm just going to skip to a point. And this is more protocols for Hebrew hired servants and heathen servants. All right, let me see. It says, verse 39, and if thy Leviticus 25:39, and if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxing poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant. So basically, if your Hebrew brother, all right, your kinsman, all right, your tribal or national brother, all right, loses all he has, and to take care of himself, had to put himself in slavery or put himself under servitude, I say that, all right, you by law can't treat him like a heathen servant. All right, I'm going to read that again. And you won't understand this unless you function as an independent nation. You don't know what it means to have a slave, man, or servants under you, all right, because you're the servant for the elites. Leviticus 25:40, all right, 39 again, Leviticus 25:39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxing poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant or a slave. So you should not have your Hebrew hired servant to function as a slave, all right, or a heathen servant. Okay, it says, but as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee, and he shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. Then it goes on to say, and then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and he shall return unto his whole family, and unto the possession of his father shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They should not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy power, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids. All right, so your male servants and your female servants, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen. So if you have actual slaves and not hired servants, because your hired servants don't belong to you. See, these are protocols that go over the modern Israelite mind, because he doesn't know what it means to exist in a sovereign land where you have to have people under you to till your land, man. All right? Or you have people within your estate. All right? But let's get it. Let's go back. It says, where we at? Okay. Leviticus 25:44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, meaning thy male slaves and thy female slaves, actual slaves, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. So when you are amongst the heathen, like a marketplace, like in America, they had a marketplace where you would actually buy Israelite male and female slaves. Well, when you are amongst the heathen, you can actually purchase slaves. Or you won a battle, you was a part of the army, our army, and you won a battle, we could bring back slaves. But it says, because in the ancient world, you bought fucking people. And even today, you buy people. That's why they have something called human traffic. Or I was watching Hidden Colors, where a lot of rich Edomites will go to these third world countries and adopt little Hamite babies or even Israelite babies, all right, that are poor, and really bring them back as domestic servants, man, on the slick. But it's Leviticus 25:44 again. This is a beautiful scripture. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. So we went from reading about renting property, which you could look at it more fully on your own time in Leviticus 25, and to get a clearer understanding, you can look at the New Living Translation when it comes to this chapter. All right, but then we went from that to purchasing actual humans as property, as possessions. But it says, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you. So your slaves that are a part of your property, when you pass on to the Most High, all right, you leave those slaves as an inheritance for your sons and daughters, or your sons, right? It says, you shall take them as an inheritance for your sons after you, to inherit them for a possession. They should be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you should not rule over one another with rigor. And another thing, Israelite servants are temp servants, man. But the heathens, they're servants till they die. All right? And their children are going to be servants, all right, to your children, and so on and so forth. It's no different from having cattle, all right? And that's pretty much the point. Like I said, we went from renting out property to one another to actually buying, hiring Israelite servants, to actually purchasing heathen slaves, man. And it's a way that you treat your Hebrew servants, and because it tells you in Sirach, treat your servant like a brother. But that's the Israelite. But when it comes to them slaves, if they don't hearken unto discipline, you beat the shit out of them, man. All right? But the point is, man, these are systems that don't make sense in this prison, in this power grid. It doesn't make it can't fit. But in an independent society where you live off the planet Earth, all right, it makes sense to have laws for leasing property, leasing out the land for harvest. Or that makes sense to have Hebrew servants. Or that makes sense to have systems to get you out of debt. All right. Like, for example, Jacob, he basically worked for 14 years for Leah and Rachel. But through his labor, he obtained a possession. Those were possessions. It tells you either get it a wife, get it the possession. All right. See, contrary to all this Western infatuation phase, being deeply in love with each other, in love at first sight, no, everything you possess is an asset to your estate. It's an extension of you. So you might obtain 2-3 wives, and they are part of your estate. All right. You might have 10 acres, 20 acres, 30 acres of land. All right. You might have on those acres cattle, all right, sheep, goats, all right. You might have 5, 10, 15 you might have some slaves. You might have Hebrew servants. You might have Hebrew servants, 5, 10 Hebrew servants and 30 or 40 slaves, depending on your wealth. Okay, this is all part of your estate, and everybody plays a role, man. It all makes sense in the kingdom. All right. See, we're going to go back to this system, and so we're not going to have, no Hebrew is going to be a slave. I say that, But the point is, all right, we're going to go back to ownership in the kingdom, man. But I'm bringing this out because they don't teach this in the church. But ironically, you're the slave for the elites. You're a debt slave. All right. But that's pretty much the point, man. These laws are imperative for dwelling independently. And it tells you that, and the thing about it, the Most High gave Moses these laws in Mount Sinai, all right, which is heavy because the Most High was preparing us. He was giving us the rundown on how to dwell in a land without being under another nation, all right. Leviticus 25:1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying. So this is the Most High giving us the blueprint for being a nation, an independent nation, okay? And that's pretty much the point. But like I said, that's the reason why there's a dietary law. There's a reason why Yahweh Basham Shai said that. Let me just get it. Why am I talking about it? Let me just get it right quick. You know. It says Leviticus 11:2, speak unto the sons of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth, whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that shall ye eat. Now, what's so special about beasts that are cloven footed or the part of the hoof? They mean their hoof is split in half, and I got illustrations of that. All right, being cloven footed, like the elk. All right, like the giraffe. All right, but the reason I pointed to the elk and the giraffe because they're cloven footed, but they also chew with the cud. Okay, but these are just identifiers of what to eat on the planet Earth, because the Most High has set us up to go all into the science of the in the ancient world, to go all into the digestive system. So the Most High made it simple. See, the Most High, he speaks with our people with simplicity. He makes everything easy, okay? But the point is, this is an example of being cloven-footed or the divided the hoof. See the elk, you see the giraffe, and they chew with the cud. All right, so they have, when they chew with the cud, meaning they eat their grass, and they got all those different stomach chambers, because that's what a stomach is a chamber, all right, for the digestive system to keep them clean. And you're going to realize that the animals that the Most High allows us to eat are basically herbivores, okay? That's why I keep going into chewing the cud, all right? Leviticus 11:7, and the swine, though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So what does it mean by that? He's one of the Most High sanitation workers to help keep the earth clean. All right, by eating the filth that's on the planet Earth. Okay, and let me go to another key point, man. All right, it says Leviticus 11:9, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. All right, so these are other identifiers. And the fish that have fins and scales, they're the fish that usually are herbivores, man, within the ocean. They eat that plant life, as opposed to other fish and things of that nature. Okay, that's why you can't eat, of course, salmon, white, pan trout, sardines. You see, tuna. All right, clean, because they have fins and scales. But it's not that the Most High just says fins and scales to make it easy for you, but really they're just herbivores. They have a clean intestinal tract, man. All right, which makes them clean for you. Okay. But these are just examples. And it says at the top, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them. So this is the Most High giving Moses and Aaron a whole playbook on how he's gonna orient the nation. Because real religion covers every facet of living. That's why Christianity, especially New Age Christianity, where you don't follow the Old Testament, it's a pseudo religion. It's not real. The only reason why you're living, because you're living in another man's society, and you're going by his rules. His rules don't go back to the Bible. Okay? When you go to court, you swear on the Bible, but they're not governing you and judging you based on the laws in the Bible. All right? See, real religion covers every facet of living, including your diet, the morals, all right, the ceremonies, all right. You got laws covering conflict between two men. You got laws covering conflict between property, like conflicts over property, conflicts over cattle. You got protocols Just in case you make a mistake and kill somebody, you got a city of refugee, man, a city of refuge, a sanctuary city, okay? And a lot of these laws, the foundation of America was set on, like burning homosexuals or stoning homosexuals or burning witches. They got that from the laws of the Most High, because you can't establish a nation without laws. Forget all that theoretical stuff, man. But I'm just bringing out examples of things that the Most High, gave Moses to give to us, so we could maneuver as a nation. All right. But Israel is a homeborn servant. He moves like a homeborn servant, so he only knows his enemy's way. All right. But there's a way that's more superior than his enemy. All right. That's part of that grievous wound too, man. You think Master's way is the best way, you know? Let me see if I can find that scripture right quick. All right. Just give me 1 second, I can. Just gonna look up a scripture before I close it out right quick, you know. I know it was in Jeremiah. I thought it was in, Jeremiah 6:16. Looked right over it. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said we will not walk therein. But that's pretty much the point, man. These are not just random laws the Most High had on us. These are laws that were instrumental for functioning as an independent nation. And you have to have these laws. And they are considered strict compared to these laws in America, these lawless ways in America. All right, because you have to self-sustain. All right, you have to have systems to keep your people alive and your people can reproduce. That's why there's the strictness on a woman being a virgin. And then sex is marriage. And of course, but she only supposed to give it one man, and she doesn't get married per se, all right, until she doesn't have sex until she's married per se. Because that was the foundation of America. You know, you pretty much submit your marriage through sex, which sex is marriage. Okay? You consecrate it through sex. But the point is, that was the foundation of America. That's why they had this story called the Scarlet Letter. All right? Because a woman was accused of being an adultery. And the scarlet or the red letter was it was a badge of shame for adultery. All right? Because if a woman is free like they are now in an independent nation, when you basically living directly off the planet Earth, that's going to cause confusion. If she's sexually promiscuous, nobody's going to want to claim her and bring them to their estate. All right. And secondly, she has a baby. Nobody's going to know who the baby is. So now we got to pull in our resources to help finance her. All right. So that's being a whore is a whole liability. Okay. That's why if your son didn't work or he didn't produce in our agricultural society, you got stoned to fucking death. Because being lazy was a liability to the whole nation. All right? The Most High had systems that filtered out liabilities. Okay? All right, but that's pretty much the point. Hope you brothers and sisters were edified. To the next time, shalom.